Hello, hello. You're tuning into episode 162 of Nintendo Noise Flip Screen Games, a weekly Nintendo podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Radford, joined as always by my very good friend and co-host, Mr. Max Wright.
Bing, bing, wahoo, Steve.
You know, Max, what a week. We had a whole thing lined up about Bayonetta's 15th anniversary, and that's gone out the window.
Desperation, I think, is the best word to describe that. A whole show about a game that didn't come to Nintendo for like however long that took.
Yeah, I know. And I'm surprised because there was a lot of fanfare, right? Of, is this the week for the Switch 2? There's going to be a big announcement on Tuesday, everyone. Just, you know, this is it. There was like the ukulele trailer that had just the Nintendo logo at the bottom and like the press manager with the eyes, whose account has now gone like, you know, ninja. And it's like, yeah, his account's like private now.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, I've not been filled in for a
while.
There's
been so much smoke with this, like, oh, we're all ready for the Switch 2 thing. And then Nintendo did surprise us, but it wasn't with the Switch 2. It was with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. And I'm pretty sure this is on your predictions, right, Max?
Is it?
I'm sure you had like a Xenoblade prediction.
This might be last year. This might be last.
Oh, it could well be. And anyway, it's not coming out until the 20th of March 2025.
Yeah.
So even if you said it's coming out this year, maybe Pete would give you a half point. I don't know.
It's got to be a 2-point question. I'd take a half. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it depends how I would have put it. I'll check that later because I can't bother to try and dig through. I can't remember if I did, but it'd be wicked if I did do that because, you know, legend over here. Thing is, it's one of those things that like it's we've looked at the Nintendo Switch's life cycle over the last, tell me how many years it's been, 7 years, and we've seen all these Wii U games come out. We've seen all the classics come out. What?
I got the predictions, Max.
You got them?
Yeah, I've got it in front of me.
What does it say?
Pete marked it as orange, so he was like, "This isn't going to happen for you." But Max, you said a Xenoblade Chronicles X re-release will be announced.
Out of nowhere. It's one of those things I've just been waiting for. You know, we've had so many other Wii U games and Wii games come over. You know, they're scraping the barrel at this point of doing Donkey Kong Country remastered, a Wii game, and then a 3DS game. You know, people have been saying for years, where's Xenoblade Chronicles X? You know, it's a game that came out on the tail end of the Wii U's life cycle, 2015, not exactly the tail end, but, you know, it was December 2015. It was sort of in the last year when they were still releasing games for it. It probably didn't do too great because it was on the Wii U anyway, but, you know, the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise has since then, you know, leaps and bounds. We've had Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we've had Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition, we've had the DLC for that, we've had Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and the DLC for that. Like, the franchise is going from strength to strength to strength, and the only missing link has been Xenoblade Chronicles X this entire time. I think it's Xenoblade Chronicles Cross, technically, but
where does this fit into the franchise?
It kind of doesn't. When it first came out, I think that it's sort of like it takes a lot of the same ideas, same themes, the same sort of combat style, but changes it, you know, quite a lot. It's sort of like of the series, the black sheep, let's say, of the series, where it's the stuff that makes Xenoblade, but bits are different. I think there might be some slightly different team members because the soundtrack's someone different. There's an avatar you make yourself as opposed to like a voiced player character, which is, you know, the only time in the franchise that's like that. But I guess if they hadn't released or hadn't started working on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 yet, they didn't sort of have the threads that go through those main number games. You know, 1, 2, and 3 are very related. They don't seem it on the surface, but they do link up. They all sort of like mishmash into each other. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 all, you know, brings it all together, and then the DLC also then puts like a nice neat bow on that. But Xenoblade Chronicles X, Cross, whatever, doesn't fit into that at all. It's its own sort of thing. Xenoblade Chronicles 10, yeah. It's its own thing. And it's, like I said, it's one of those, like, always wanted to do this White Whale kind of like, I had it when it came out. It didn't grab me initially. I think I was also sort of done with the Wii U by that point anyway. It was a time in my life and there was so much stuff going on that I just never picked it up. And then I regretted it when I eventually sold it, or I guess got rid of the Wii U, waiting for Switch ports, and here we are.
So this.
Oh, I've still got my original collector's edition here.
Oh.
With steelbook, art book, all that gubbins.
Is this about to drop in value now because this is no longer the only way you can play it?
I don't have the game in it. I've just got the bits, the gubbins.
Why?
So this might because I. So when I went to trade the game in because I didn't have a Wii U anymore, the guy was like, "Oh, we don't have the collector's edition and the game as a separate thing. Like they're both the same price. They're both like £15 or whatever it was." I was like, "What? So if I just took this back and gave you the game, it's exactly the same price?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'll just do that then, because eventually this might come to Switch." And was I right? Yes, I was.
Do you think we're going to get a similar collector's edition on Switch?
I'd like that. Because they've all had it, I think. Yeah, they have. I've got them all, yeah. Well, actually, I don't have the Xenoblade Chronicles 3. If anyone out there has Xenoblade Chronicles 3 collector stuff, you don't want it, speak to me, because I was unemployed when that came out and didn't get a chance to pick that
And
stuff
now
up.
he's sold his whole wardrobe on Vinted and he's flush faced.
No, yeah, this is going towards to pay for my gammy tooth. That unfortunately all my stuff.
Oh, I forgot. Didn't you do that when you went to Turkey?
No, that was my hair, Steve. I got new hair in. No, I didn't do any of that. Au natural, baby. But I would like there to be a collector's edition of this because I would like to, complete it. Or put the book next to the other book. All the books are quite similar. I like that about them. I'm very excited about this. Are you bothered? Are you bothered at all? Are you only excited about this because it's a Nintendo announcement? Or
yeah, I've never played a Xenoblade Chronicles game, and I don't really know where to start in the franchise. I kind of guess it's Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition.
Yeah, I would do Definitive Edition, then 2, then 3, because otherwise you'll get to the end of either one of those games, and then you'll start the next game and be like, I think I get what's going on here. So you kind of want to do them in order, but X, Cross, whatever, you can take in any put it wherever you want.
But this could be first. This could be like separate.
First. This could be the one that gets you into it. There's different things here that never sort of come up again. There's a lot of there's mechs throughout the whole series, but this is the only one where you sort of pilot a mech. I didn't play far enough to get to the mech. I think you have to do a big chunk of the game before you get the mech, but it does have a big seamless open world. It does have the same sort of style of combat where it's like MMO but single player, but this one has guns, whereas the other ones sort of have typically been more melee focused. It's a gorgeous game as well. I don't actually know how much they might have changed for this. It does say enhanced visuals here, but for a Wii U game, it looks incredible. I saw a post on X earlier. And
how was she?
Yeah, awful. Winning. So it shows Xenoblade Chronicles X, a screenshot from the Wii U game, and then a screenshot of Pokemon Violet, and it's like night and day how this game, nearly 10 years ago now, can look that good on a piece of hardware that like the Wii U compared to the Switch. Now, I'm sure it will look that good when the Definitive Edition comes out.
Yeah, I mean the trailer looks impressive. I mean, there was a couple of moments where I was like, "Oh, maybe I can see some stuttering there."
I thought that. I was like, is this stuttering? But I couldn't work out. Generally with Nintendo stuff, I've learned that if the trailer, they're very honest in their trailers when it comes to stuff like this. So whenever you watch a partner direct or whatever, and you're like, "Oh, here's this indie game that." Or here's this game that's on every other system, and they're finally bringing it to Switch. Cool. And then they show the trailer, and it's like, oh yeah, that looks like it's running on the Switch. It
was when the camera swooped around the ginger dude, and and I couldn't tell if it was an artifact from some kind of upscaling that they're doing, or if the motion blur just looked a bit wonky as well.
I'm just looking at it now, but it's also when it moves across parts of NLA. It seems to do it. I don't remember that being an issue on the Wii U, but it also might have only been 30 FPS on the Wii U, maybe. And now, if they've managed to bump it up to 60, it could just be that there's dips or whatever. And
true, and they've also got another 6 months realistically.
Yeah, that's true.
To get this finished. It's cool that they've done this announcement. It's a strange thing for me though.
Oh yeah, this is bizarre, right?
It's this. Is this going to be the last Switch game? 20th of March, 2025. Is this how the console goes out with a bang, or is this the first kind of cross-gen game?
Yeah. So the interesting thing about about the date of this. It's very, 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 very close to the 8th anniversary of the Switch, if I'm right. That was what, the beginning of March, or was that May? I'm sure it was March.
It was March, yeah, it was March in 2017.
So, because we did think that the Switch 2, based on the rumors, might be announced by now, and I could then see maybe if it was announced by now that it could be out in March, maybe. But also, as I've said before on the show, I think there's less of a post Wii U. Hey, well, I know you didn't care about us for a while, but here's this thing. We're going to show you how this works. We need to show you what's different. We need to show you why you need to pay attention to us again. Now they have everyone's attention. They can, let the Switch have its last. They've just announced the new bundle, haven't they, for Black Friday, which I think is an OLED plus Mario Wonder,
yeah.
which is new. And I think if you do that as your last Black Friday before you announce it, that's a lot of new people who already have the standard Switch that are going to upgrade to the OLED, and which is a much better system. So it could be that this is this does come out 20th of March. Is like there was a rumor it was delayed until the end of March, right? That was one of the original rumors. I think Andy Robinson from VGC reported on that they had delayed the Switch 2 and release until the end of this sort of financial.
Well, I think it was due this year. I think they were working towards holiday season 2024. It's been pushed. There's still no sign of it in any of their financial reports. So none of their predictions are showing that we're going to get a huge influx of sales, which they probably would show at this point. It's the final quarter we're coming up to for the holiday season's final quarter. So we just had the Q3 financial results for Nintendo. So I think we would have seen it. If it's coming out in March, I think we would have seen it. So my gut is they drop it in April. And we kind of get the Switch 2 in April. This is the final game that's on the Switch 2. Maybe they use this as a way to show how it looks even better on the Switch 2.
Yeah, and they can maybe even also show that, like, hey, all your games will just work because this one that's just released, that you've just bought. Because if they don't do that, you're going to feel a bit salty about buying.
Oh, yeah, you'd be really pissed off, wouldn't you? Yeah.
It's interesting that Nintendo keeps dragging life out of the Switch for me, as well as someone who, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've slightly not moved on or anything like that, but like the release cadence and the level of releases that are coming out haven't been specifically tailored to me, and I've been playing elsewhere, and that's absolutely fine. But at no point, I've sold my PlayStation 5, I've sort of consolidated down into PC now. But at no
I think
point
that's
have I
probably
ever
a huge part of it for you as well, is that potentially the Switch was your place and your protocol for indies.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But what I'm saying is I still haven't had that urge to even get rid of my Switch, because I still know they've got things. They've just had Zelda. Metro Prime Beyond has announced with no date. They're releasing Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, if I hadn't played it already, I'd maybe care about that. And now they're releasing this. They're still getting me interested. They're still getting me in with these things, to the point that I'm not that fussed about the Switch 2 right now, because they're still doing stuff with the system I currently own. And I'm sure people are in a different situation. But those people who maybe haven't had anything to play on their Switch for a year or two, that are like, oh, it's collecting dust, when are they going to release Switch 2?
If it's collecting dust, put it in your case.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Like, why are you letting it sit there on the battery thing? But if the releases they've done in the last couple of years haven't been for you, why do they think that a more powerful Switch would change that for them?
I guess maybe it's a hope that it's not just first-party games that you're going to be playing there. That if the Zeldas and the Marios aren't doing it for you, and you came to the Switch for the Skyrims, and potentially there is going to be something else there, like Red Dead Redemption 2. Maybe we finally get like a Far Cry game that's been rumored to be coming to the Switch. We know Call of Duty's coming because they've got that commitment from Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
So there are like some other reasons, I think, to potentially get excited about the Switch 2. Plus, I think it's always just exciting it's always fun to get excited about new hardware. And I think for me, that was like the biggest thing I got from this, that this was just a huge surprise out of nowhere. They just dropped a trailer on YouTube and a post on X, and that was it. That's all we got. I got a press release in my inbox, but other than that, there was no like big announcement or anything. And we've had a couple of announcements. We're going to talk about another one after the break, and it's like you probably could have got a direct like a little mini
Yeah,
direct
I
out
think
this
so.
week.
But I wonder if maybe these things were planned for a different kind of direct. Maybe there was a direct planned for this time where they did do the Switch 2, and maybe one of the games involved in that was going to be Xenoblade Chronicles, and then some other stuff. Maybe plans have changed, but they were still like, well, we still plan on releasing Xenoblade Chronicles in March, so let's drop this as well.
But do you need to then tell people about it? Like maybe to get people amped up and excited for Black Friday next month, but
what about the Switch 2 or about Xenoblade Chronicles?
But Xenoblade Chronicles, it might be like, oh, this is the reason I'm now excited to maybe pick up a Switch OLED.
Maybe, yeah, maybe just there's now that Zelda's out, I'm just trying to do some quick memory work in my head. I'm pretty sure the next game due out is Donkey Kong Country Returns Definitive Edition, whatever that's called, Deluxe. And then somewhere in the ether is Metroid Prime Beyond.
We got that Mario Luigi game, right?
Brotherhood, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an idiot. So that's what I was trying to do the thinking, but the thinking didn't think hard enough. Yeah, okay, that is true. Well, maybe they're just like, oh, we need to, give people something else. Let's remind them that the Switch isn't dead yet, or that it isn't dying, or they're not going to be sitting and in a drought of games anytime soon. Maybe.
I mean, I've not felt like there's been a drought. Like the announcements we got for this year, that Zelda, we got the Zelda game, we got Mario and Luigi, Mario Party Jamboree. We know Prime's on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Horizon, we got Lego Horizon. There's a lot of stuff that they had announced. I don't feel like there was anything where I was just like, oh, there's kind of a drought here, and like we know stuff now for next year. Donkey Kong Country, Xenoblade Chronicles X. There's like a lot of stuff that is on the way. For
I agree. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying there is a drought. I'm just saying like maybe they release this so that if people start to think, well, what's next? But also, I guess it could also just be that it's done. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC came out last year, made it on my Game of the Year list. Controversially. So it could just be that Monolith Soft have been working on it. It's now done, and they're like, well, let's just put it out because we've got other things to do. I know there's always been rumors, and I guess we do have some evidence that Nintendo will finish stuff and then sit on it until it's ready. We have seen that before, but maybe it's just it's done. Let's get some money.
I don't know that is the case though. Like I feel like maybe that was the case with the Metroid remaster, but then they changed tack and they're like, actually, we want to remake it, and we really want to make this be the engine that we're using for Prime 4 when Retro took over the game.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see that maybe they want to get all of their Switch 1 announcements out of the way. That this potentially is the final game for the Switch, and they're just like, right, let's get all these out of the way, and then let's go into November and get the US election out of the way, because I feel like they don't want that to potentially overshadow anything.
Yep.
And then go, right, let's announce the Switch 2. Let's get people amped up and excited for next year. Maybe get Black Friday out of the way, so that you sell all the bundles that that you've got sticking around. They've probably got thousands of those things that they want to sell. Get those out, and then once all that's out the way, then you can announce it. Or you do it around the Game Awards, or maybe you just push it and you do it next year. You do it in January.
I hadn't. This does feel like a Game Awards announcement, by the way. Just this is the sort of thing that would have been announced at the Game Awards. Typically Nintendo has done. Bayonetta 1 and 2 Switch was announced there. In the same sort of way. I hadn't thought that maybe they were just like, well, if we're announcing Switch 2 soon, we're not going to muddy the waters by then announcing a Switch game, and then it's like, well, what is this for? Maybe there is no plan for enhancement at all. Maybe it's just it is what it is. And maybe they were just like, well, if we announce this now, then there can't be confusion when we announce the Switch 2, and that is for, I don't know, April, and this game's already come out, so there's no way you can get confused. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's probably what this is, because it does feel so tight and so close to that release date. And I think they'll announce that it's backwards compatible. I think that's a given at this point. And I don't think that this is going to kind of muddy the waters in that regard. But do you think we get anything else now, like for Switch, or is this it? Because it feels like we've got a lot on the cards. Like maybe they could do a shadow drop closer to Christmas, or we could get some more DLC or something. We've obviously got that playtest that's underway that we spoke about last week. There
Can I
might
just
be
quickly give a
something that
thought
comes
on
from
that playtest? I don't think that's a game. I think that's them testing the network for Switch Online 2. That's what I think that is. It's loads of players. It's probably not peer to peer like the other ones have been. Maybe it seems like that's more of a network test as like an infrastructure test than a game. Just so you know, that's my thoughts on that. If you'd have asked me that question when Tears of Kingdom came out last year, is this the last Switched game? I would have said, yeah, probably. And then if you'd have asked me that when, basically anytime you could have asked me that question any time over the last year and change, and I'd have gone, yeah, this is probably it. This is probably it. What a swan song. What a swan song, I'd have said. What a swan song.
Maybe Swan Song is your Silk Song. It might be the last one.
Oh,
Right?
imagine if
Silk Song could be the Swan Song for
that
the
game
Nintendo
does
Switch.
not exist, Steve. The game that I played 5 years ago at EGX doesn't exist, Steve. I'm sorry.
No, obviously not. Maybe you'll play it at EGX next year, and it might be coming out.
Maybe we'll play at EGX next year.
Where is EGX next year?
Probably London.
We could do it. We could go to London.
Well, I said this to you this year. You didn't say bugger all, did you?
Well, this year wasn't really in the mindset for it, I'll be honest. But next year will be.
All right. I was also well busy and didn't go. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll try not to fall down the stairs this time.
Yeah, please.
And then sprain my ankle.
Try your best.
Yeah. That's the reason the podcasts are late, by the way. I fell down the stairs. How embarrassing is that?
Do you have stairs?
I do have stairs. I just have never been taught how to use them.
Oh, okay. I'll get you a stanner. We'll get you a little stanner stair lift to climb
Please. And my neighbour's just got one of those fitted, and it does look groovy. I will admit.
They are. Have you seen the little the private lifts, the individual lifts in your house? They look like proper like pneumatic tube, like you're gone.
I could go
like Augustus Gloop being like dragged up the. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind living in a house with a lift. I think at that point you probably call it a block of flats, but I would still call it a house.
Well, when Flip Screen Games takes off, we'll just get lifts in our houses. We'll get in our collective house. We'll have a lift.
We'll all live in the same house.
We'll live in the same
house, and we'll have like lifts, and we can argue over who gets the penthouse.
Yep. Make your TikToks. You've got to make your TikToks. That sounds like one of those content houses. You've got to make your TikTok. Why aren't you currently making TikToks? Are you asleep? Make TikToks. And we're just like, like. That was an attempt at Renegade, by the way, just in case you weren't aware.
Before we move on from Xenoblade, Max, any more on this? Are you excited about it?
Yes. I am. It is a shame that it's a shame that I know most of the story bits of it, because I have in the past looked it up just to say, like, is it connected anyway? Blah, blah, blah. There was a bit right at the very end of the trailer where it's got a character that looks suspiciously like Dunban from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Probably isn't him. And then another character in a hood who says something like, interesting. And then like lifts the hood up. But before they show who that is, it ends, it cuts. And I don't actually know if that's from the original game or if that's like new content, the same way.
Well, they have said that it comes with added story elements and more, but that is probably because this is based on the Western. I think it's based on the Western version of the game rather than the Japanese version of the game, which did have more stuff. It had like DLC and stuff included. You had to buy it as DLC in Japan, but that was included in the Western release.
Yes,
but we don't know. There might be some more stuff on top of that original Western release.
There might be. They did it for the definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. They did the definitive edition of that, and that had special stuff. So
be really cool if that is the case. I'd like, I'm not a Xenoblade guy. That's why I was really glad that you were here, because otherwise I would have been reading a press release.
You'd also you'd been by yourself as well if I wasn't here. So
yeah, and I feel like people would be fine just to listen to me.
I every now and again a piece of news happens, and I'm like, do you reckon I could just get 15 minutes of me talking to camera about
Please do that.
The YouTube channel?
Please do that.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to put an intro on it. We'll discuss that in the.
You don't need an intro. Just do it.
All right. We'll talk about this.
Yeah, we will. We will talk about it. But anyway, before we move on to our next announcement, you need to guess what it is, by the way, down in the comments if you don't already know what the next announcement is. I need to thank our Patreon producers for the month of October. They are, of course, Arnold J. Rimmer, Christopher Valens, Steve Stompy, Susan Likes Cats and Also Boobies, Ty the Dude, Voodoo Vic, and Wakahula. Thank you all so much for supporting us over on patreon.com/flipscreengames. And if you want to go and join them, head on over there. But there's other ways you can get involved. Head over to our website, flipscreen.games. You can find us everywhere we are on the web, including YouTube, TikTok, Discord. Come join us, come chat with us, and have a good time.
If this is your first episode, by the way, if you're discovering Nintendo Noise because you're a big Xenoblade Chronicles fan,
hi.
do what but also do what one listener of the Steam Deck podcast is doing. Go back to episode 1. Chart Nintendo news, the highs and the lows. Me appearing, me disappearing, me coming back periodically to win things. Let's chart. Listen to it all. There's 100 and something episodes.
No, Max. Go back before that to the podcast if you can find them somewhere.
Go back 6 years.
Yeah, listen to episode 1 and how different we all sound. It's very weird.
I don't know if that's. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's the.
I think it was Pixel doing some goofy editing.
Yeah, because you sound so soft, whereas now you sound.
Soft. I've always been
solid.
I was always called a soft lad when I was a kid. I think it was some kind of insult.
Up north, I think it's maybe a term of endearment. I don't know.
Don't think it is.
No,
I think it's a term used for homosexuals.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Anyway, the next announcement Nintendo surprised us with, which I was kind of shocked by, but also very happy to see, is Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete. So this is basically a replacement for Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which we know was shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's being turned off on the 28th of November. And to replace it, on the 3rd of December, we have Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete, which you can buy for the introductory price of $9.99 or £8.99. And you will probably want to get it at that price because it's going to double next year.
Really?
$19.99. So make sure you get it in December because after that, it is gone for good. So couple more bits on this. Basically, it comes with everything that you can think in that you can get in the game, and you can link Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, the original version. If you've linked that to your Nintendo account by the 2nd of June next year, you will be able to transfer your game progress over, and then you can earn leaf tokens, which are exchanged for in-game items. So rather than having to use real money, you can just basically get everything now in the game. Which is really cool. So, and they're going to have same deal with like seasonal events throughout the year, fishing tournaments, scavenger hunts, garden events, things like that. So everything that you know and love from Animal Crossing Pocket Camp or Animal Crossing in general is all kicking off there. But I thought this was really interesting. I was surprised to see them bother with this because the other games that they've shut down in the past, Dr. Mario or
oh yeah. Did Dragalia Lost?
Dragalia Lost got shut down.
That was a moneymaker, right?
Yeah.
Is Fire Emblem Heroes
Fire Emblem's still open,
still going?
Still going. Yeah, that's still printing money.
It is a shame that all of those games that did exist, with Nintendo trying out mobile things with the DNA, is that the company they were working with? There have been some disasters. What was the Me one?
Miitomo, that was banging.
What, on the mobile? I don't know. I don't think there's been a good partnership with Dino. Then again, Mario Kart Tour might have been bang. I haven't played it. I was put off by the first few.
My boyfriend is obsessed with Mario Kart Tour.
Oh, okay.
Like, still plays it to this day, even though there's no new content. He's now trying to unlock everything in it, and he gets very excited about it every month, every week even. And I was wondering, like, is Mario Kart Tour next? Like, do we see this happen there? Because there's no new content coming there. Presumably, they're probably going to want to turn off the servers at some point because I think that's probably the reason Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete exists.
Is Mario Kart Tour monetized right now?
Yes.
And what is the monetization? How does that work?
You can buy basically everything in the shop, all the cosmetics, but they're not just cosmetics. Like some like carts are better on certain tracks than others. Some gliders are better than others. You can buy like specific characters that'll be better at specific tracks and in specific tournaments than others. And you can buy those in the shop with like rubies, I think you get in the game. And you can buy basically packs of rubies. So you can either earn them or you can buy them.
Okay. So it sounds like there's probably going to be an incentive for them to keep getting that money from people if they are shutting the servers down.
I think that was the same deal though with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp because they called it like free to start, and then you could buy
Yeah.
things.
Yes, I think they've all been called free to start, and as opposed to free to play, because I think that then puts people off when they're, But I guess it's our fault. I genuinely think it's our fault that Nintendo monetized their games this way, mobile games this way, because none of us bought Mario Run for the price it was. £9 for a full
I
mobile
bought
Mario
Mario
game.
Run.
I did too, but
Wasn't great.
I was using the Royal. No, it wasn't great, but I also think that the failure of that was why they were like, all right, fuck you guys. They're all free to start and they're all monetized. And I guess that's the point of mobile games, I guess, is to be ongoing. But it
I
also
think they got a taste of the Pokemon Go cash, and they're like, you know what? This is juicy. We haven't really got to do much. We can keep getting it. And I wish they'd got a taste of that. And we're like, you know what? Let's do this with Splatoon.
has
Let's
this
make
all happened in
Splatoon
the
3 free to start.
has this all happened in the space of the Switch lifestyle? All these mobile games coming out.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
Mario Run was before,
Oh, okay.
but that was like their first little foray, dipping their
Yeah,
toes
yeah.
in. But Mario Kart Tour, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, they were within the Switch life.
I think this is a great way to keep these games alive because these games exist purely for the whales, right? They only exist for people who are really addicted to them to pump money into them. That's the only reason these games exist, and those people are going to be sad when this game no longer exists. And I think the cost of running the server is going to be way more than the cost of developing this standalone thing. And these people can still put money into it by buying it.
Yeah, I mean this has already been done. I would imagine this is we make this, we sell it, we don't plan to add anything new to it.
I don't think we're ever going to see an update to this once it's out.
You sync your save over from one account to now this, and that's it.
This is Nintendo abandoning this game, but in a way that doesn't piss off the old players, except it maybe kind of also does because they had to pay for it again. But
I've spoken to some friends who have played this, and they're pretty excited about it. I think because it was the idea that it was going away. They were never going to be able to play again, and now there is a way to do it that you can buy the game if you want. And I think $9.99 is a reasonable price. $20, I kind of like balk at a little bit. I got to say, like $20 for a mobile game, that's a chunk of change that I would struggle to justify paying myself. But there is some new stuff that they've added to the game as well. Like they say they've added these camper cards, which are basically in-game cards that you can trade through a QR code, and it's basically like your personal profile. It's got your favorite Animal Crossing character on, and you can invite your friends to join you at the Whistle Pass, which is a new location unique to Pocket Camp Complete, where you can watch live music performances. Imagine KK Sliders rocking up with his guitar, and he's going to be.
He always does, and that's the only reason to check into Mario Kart. The only reason to check into Animal Crossing for a while was oh shit, it's Friday. KK Sliders having a show. Get down
you
to
can play
the
the
square.
yoga. What was the yoga? The Tai Chi, or whatever they did on the little square.
Can't remember.
I used to go and I would like try and collect all of KK Sliders records. I gotta say, like I thought that was a fun.
I had like them all on the wall. I had my favorite on playing all the time. That's KK Cruising because that is a 10 out of 10 song.
KK Ska's good though, and Disco, KK Disco.
Yeah,
I like KK Disco.
There's so many. He is a storied musician. He should have his own Eras tour. The KK Sliders Eras tour. I'd go to it. I would.
I kind of want to buy a KK Slider T-shirt. I'd want to go to the tour just for the T-shirt.
Nintendo should lean into the KK Slider thing. He's their best musician.
Yeah. Who is behind KK Slider? That's what I want to know. Who's the manager? Who found it?
Yeah.
Was it Tom? Was it Tom Nook?
Probably.
KK Slider's manager?
He's got money in all sorts of things. He's sort of like have you seen People Just Do Nothing?
People Just Do Nothing, no?
Yeah. Oh, for anyone who might have done, Tom Nook is the Chibuddy G of the Animal Crossing universe. He's just like, he funds it. He does it all. He fingers in pies. Just a reference for the few people that might have seen it. Why not?
Well, yeah. I mean, what do you make of this? Are you excited? Were you an Animal Crossing Pocket Camp guy?
I tried Pocket Cramp for I'm going to say minutes, maybe even less than that. No, there was something about Pocket Camp that for me it just felt like with most of these games where it's like you hit a point where you're like, okay, now I'm not actually having fun here. I'd only
Yeah.
come onto the app to sort of push forward, but at no point was I ever having fun. It was like the fun's going to start soon. All right, the fun's going to start soon.
You
All
know
right, the
what? When
fun's.
they say when the fun stops, stop.
They do say that. They do
So
say that.
I'm glad you did, Max. I'm really glad you did, and you didn't fall into the gacha trap that is Animal Crossing
Yeah.
Pocket Camp. I've never been a fan of it.
No.
I prefer like Animal Crossing proper.
Yes.
I want to be able to
Yeah.
like just play that, but I know a lot of people did enjoy it, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see that they've kept it going. I,
Yeah.
I do wonder if they do this with any other games. Like, do they do this with Mario Kart Tour, or
Yeah.
do we see this come to something like Apple Arcade? Because I could
Interesting.
see that being a way that I would play it. I wouldn't pay the $20 for the game or the $9.99 for the game. In the same way, I've not done that for Balatro. It's part of my Apple Arcade subscription, so I can play it there.
Oh, but how does Nintendo get paid for that?
I think from some people I've spoken to, that they basically get an upfront payment from Apple to add it to Apple Arcade, and then on top of that, they get like a cut based on how many downloads it's had.
All right. Well, I guess Nintendo's into money, so I can see them doing that for that reason.
I could see Apple wanting to get Nintendo on there as well. That would be a big boon for them.
Yeah.
If Nintendo, or do you just chuck this in as part of like a part of a subscription somewhere? Does this become part of your Switch Online subscription?
I was thinking that there's just you'd have to manage that somehow. But I guess if Apple are going to allow like third-party launchers, that could be part of the whole
I
thing.
mean,
for
and Netflix
Nintendo.
does it with their like games. You can just you can download them from the Netflix app, takes you over to the store, and you have to just log in with your Netflix account. You can just log in with your Nintendo account. It would know that you've got an active Switch Online subscription and just let you play the game.
That's a good thinking. That's a good idea. It's just one of those things that like, and this is, I know I've been sort of like fairly positive so far about this. My big thing is who cares? Who's still playing Mario? Who's still playing Pocket Camp to be bothered by its loss? I'm sure there are some people, but is this a big thing for people? Are these Nintendo games popular enough in their own right? People are, you know, people are excited to be able to play these games forever or have them. Like, is it that sad that these games that are, profit driven mini experience of the full games that exist on Switch and are very good on Switch, is it that sad that they're getting shut down when they don't offer anything really that, how do I say, they are unique, they've got other stuff to them, but they are watered down, they are monetized, they are time limited and stuff like that. Like, or I don't know.
It's everything from mobile games that's here, apart from maybe adverts. And that,
Yeah.
I think, is what always upset me about them, because I don't like all of that crap from
Yeah.
mobile games.
No.
I'd
And I
much
say
rather
this as
pay
someone
for an experience.
I say this as someone who plays mobile games. I play, I used to play Pokemon Go a lot. I played a lot of Marvel Snap last year and this year, I guess. I played a lot of the new Monster Hunter Puzzles game, just because I like a nice match puzzler, and also I'm a big Monster Hunter guy. I play mobile games, but I wouldn't say that if Monster Hunter Puzzles was to go away, I wouldn't be like, oh, let me buy it. No, mate, wait, let me pay $8.99 for it, please. Because I would just move on to something else, because it's not like I'm getting an actual Monster Hunter experience. It's not like I'm getting like a unique, oh, I can't get this anywhere else, like I would be with if Marvel Snap got shut down, that would be miserable. But that's also not exclusively a mobile game, I guess. It just happens to be that's where it works, and it
I'd be
works really
very
well.
upset if Balatro disappeared,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
that on mobile is great, and I've got further than I did on Steam
Oh,
Deck
really?
now, because I'm just obsessed with it, and I play it every night in bed now. So, because it's easy for me to hold my phone in bed. So I do think there is something to be said for mobile games, but I kind of feel like this maybe is closing the door on Nintendo's experimentation with mobile. We've not seen anything new from them really in a long while, other than maybe Pokemon, whatever that was. Was it Sleep?
There's
Was that-
always Pokemon mobile games. They're always making them, and I think it's that very much shows the difference between Pokemon and Nintendo. I guess the Pokemon company and Nintendo is that Nintendo are like, right, we're going to do one mobile game for this thing. With Pokemon's just like, oh, well, you're not brushing your teeth, sleeping, walking,
Fishing for Magikarp.
sitting down. You're not constantly doing like 8 Pokemon games. You're not logging into 8 Pokemon games a day to get all of your different things. You're not tracking your sleep every day with Pokemon. Like Pokemon wants to invade your life in every way.
I'm not tracking my sleep with Pokemon as it goes because I've got an Alarmo, so I'm using that to track my sleep.
Do you actually, or is that a joke?
No, I don't have one of those.
Oh,
I track my sleep with an Apple Watch. That's what I do.
I wear my Pixel Watch to bed. What I said earlier about who cares? You said there about is this Nintendo coming out of mobile games? I'll say it again. I don't care. I'm when it was announced, I was like, all right, this could be interesting. And this is like when they first announced, like, we're partnering with DNA to come to mobile. And when Mario Run came out, I was like, this could be cool. I can see this being cool. That flopped, and since then it's just been gacha after watered down this after money this, and like I love Nintendo games and I love what they do, but I love Nintendo games not because I'm a big Mario fan and therefore I'm going to buy anything with Mario on it. It's not because I'm a huge fan of the Animal Crossing IP and I'll buy the stickers and I'll buy the amiibo and all that stuff. What I like is Animal Crossing the game. I like Mario the game, 3D Mario only, obviously. I like Zelda the game. I don't want those characters stuck onto a game that's like a watered down version of a game that is good.
Yeah, I can.
I don't need to be away from my Switch and then, I need to play these. I'll play a little mobile game I don't really care about. I'll play something fun. I don't need to play the same games but worse.
And then you can be excited when you do go back to your Switch and you do play the proper Animal Crossing or the proper Mario game rather than Mario Run or Animal Crossing Pocket. I can totally understand that. I don't get it myself either. I never got into Mario Kart Tour as much as Henry's tried to get me to play Mario Kart Tour. I'd rather boot up Mario Kart 8, and I just think it's a much better experience.
Does he play a lot of Mario Kart 8 himself, or
no? He can't.
Okay. So it's for different people.
He can't figure out the controls, and I've tried, but
it's just reaching out to it's trying to get Nintendo away from its core. These people buy a £60 video game. It's trying to get into people who are maybe on the outskirts who do play mobile games, which is a huge number of people. It's good. It's just not for you and I. It's not for people who do take time to sit down and play video games and engage with this stuff and have our Switch and blah blah blah. It's for people who don't own consoles or don't touch their consoles very often. It's for it's not for us. And I don't think that these games should be talked about in the same sort of thing as I know One Up Mango is going to absolutely kick off about how we're wrong about Dragalia Lost, and actually that was the best Nintendo game that there's ever been. But let's beef about it in Discord then if we have to.
And speaking of Discord, come and let us know either in the comments or on Discord what you think about the Xenoblade Chronicles X and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp news. Are these games for you? Are you excited about mobile games? Are you excited about paying potentially $20 for a mobile game or $60 for a Wii U game on the Switch in 2025? Kind of crazy. But let us know and head over to our website, flipscreen.games. That's where you can find everywhere we are, including Discord. Come and say hi to me and Max and Pete when he's back. Anyway, that's it for now. See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.